Yo, so this is a bonus video in addition to the training that Mike did. And also there's another video that shows you how to buy the coins that Mike recommended on the call. This is specifically for beginners. So I actually don't know a ton about crypto, but this is basically, I've been in it for 2 or 3 years now. And this is kind of all the stuff I kind of wish I would have known when I got started. So I'm going to break this down as simple as possible. So if you're kind of starting from the point where you really don't understand anything about crypto, but you would like to get in it and get involved, this is for you. So like I said, that's exactly who this is for. If you got no idea where to start, no idea where to buy it, no idea how to store it, this is all super confusing to you. That's what this video is all about. So I'm going to cover 5 beginning rules that I live by for crypto, how to buy cryptos the easy way, and how to safely store your crypto. So one disclaimer very quickly, I am not a financial advisor. I do not have any financial qualifications to give you advice on investing. I'm simply sharing what I did to get started and how I got into crypto. So with that said, let's jump into some rules I live by when it comes to crypto investing. Number one, and probably the most important one, I don't invest money into crypto that I can't afford to lose. Crypto is super volatile, especially if you're in altcoins. So the main coin is Bitcoin, and then everything else is basically considered an altcoin. Altcoins can literally drop 30, 50, 70% in one day, like literally one day. They could go from $100 down to $30. And I mean, they fluctuate a lot. So crypto investing is very risky. There's obviously big potential to make a lot of money. But you do not want to be investing any type of money that you absolutely need. So I'm not investing rent money. I'm not investing money to eat. I'm not investing that kind of money into crypto. For me, it's a much, much smaller part of my overall investment strategy. Oops. Secondly, so like I said, crypto is very volatile, drop as much as 50% in a single day. So simply just be aware of that going in. Some people have the tolerance to handle that. Some people do not. And some people are okay handling that with smaller amounts of money. And some people are not okay with handling that with larger amounts of money. So just be very aware. This is not like stocks where the Dow Jones changes 1% in a day and it's a big deal. Crypto is literally going to go up and down 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50% in a day a lot of times, and that's just how it is. Another thing I think it would be really important to point out is that most of my money that I have invested is not invested in crypto. So the large majority of my money is invested into safer things like index funds and real estate. So this is an actual breakdown of where my money is currently right now. So as you can see, between index funds and real estate, that makes up 70% of my investments, and crypto is only about 30% of that. So I'm not piling every single dollar I have into Bitcoin and other altcoins. It's a very small percentage. And honestly, it was at like 10% of my portfolio. But I recently have put more into it because I'm seeing a lot of signs that I think are really positive for crypto in the long run, specifically Bitcoin. So I've increased it more than it was. And in cryptos also, Bitcoins went up from 20K to about 70K over the last year. So naturally, it became a larger part of my portfolio as well, just because it went up in price. So the big thing I really want to point out here is like, I don't have every single dollar invested. Like I said, when I got started, it was maybe 5%. Now it's up around 30%. And I probably will not go any higher than 30. Like I'm not going to put any more money into crypto. It could obviously become more of my part. Like if Bitcoin goes up 10x in price, it's going to be a much bigger part of my portfolio, obviously. But I'm not planning on adding any more money to it as of now. I'm pretty comfortable at this number. Rule number 4, if I invest in altcoins, which is anything besides Bitcoin, I usually do not want to hold those for the long term. This is something I wish I would have understood better when I got into crypto. I've always been a like buy and hold kind of person with investing, real estate index funds. You just buy them and you hold on to them for 30 years. I kind of was trying to do the same thing with crypto, which you can do with Bitcoin, but it's not a great strategy with a lot of altcoins. Because like if you look at the altcoins that were popular in 2017 or 2020, most of them aren't even around anymore. So if you're going to put money into altcoins, a lot of the strategy that I used with altcoins is mostly around just ride them during the bull market, sell them, try to get a decent gain with them. And then I go and put most of that money back into Bitcoin, or I put it into other investments like real estate or index funds, stuff like that. Last one, this is very important. This kind of ties into the first beginner rule, which is if I find myself not being able to sleep because of the up and down nature of crypto, I know I have too much invested. So if you had $1 invested in crypto and it dropped 50% in a day, you probably would not freak out and go crazy because it's $1. It's not a big deal. If you had $100,000 and it dropped 50%, you probably, depending on how much money you have, you might freak out, you might not. So if that $100,000 means a lot to you, you're going to freak out. If you have, I don't know, $10 million to your name, that 100,000 probably doesn't mean a whole lot, and you're probably not going to freak out. So a good rule of thumb is that if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're constantly thinking about the price, if you're constantly checking the price 30 times a day and you're just having massive anxiety and fear over what's going on, you have way too much money invested. So that is something you could kind of only really learn by kind of just doing it. So this is why like I said, I started pretty small. I think, like I said, crypto is probably 3 to 5% of my total overall investments when I started. That was mostly just because I wanted to see how I handled it. I wanted to see if I'd be able to handle the ups and downs, the fluctuations, all that type of stuff. All right, so those are a few of my rules when it comes to crypto. If you want to keep things as simple as possible, if you find everything very confusing with crypto, you don't understand any of this, it all seems crazy, here's what I do. 95% of my money in crypto that is allotted to crypto is in Bitcoin. And then I have about 5%, maybe 10% at the most, that I play around with on altcoins where I'm trying to hit big 20, 30, 100x winners on. So to me, Bitcoin is the very like steady, sturdy, as much as you can get steady and sturdy in crypto. So I'm fine with just buying Bitcoin and holding that forever. That's kind of my overall goal with the Bitcoin. And then, like I said, I play around with the 5 to 10%, and that's kind of like my fun gambling money where I'm like trying to hit these big winners. If I do, awesome. If I don't, not a big deal either. My overall belief is Bitcoin, and basically this is the thesis that kind of drove me to those, putting most of my crypto money into Bitcoin, is that my overall belief is Bitcoin's going to be around $1 million in the next 5 to 7 years, barring some huge financial disaster that goes on. And it's probably going to be somewhere around 5 million a coin in the next 20 years. So I'm betting on the long term with that. I could be way off on these, but that's kind of where I foresee things going with Bitcoin. So this is why I have, like I said, 95% of my crypto money is in Bitcoin, because I see it, it's going to be the one that lasts, and it's going to be the one that changes everything. All right, so there are 2 ways to buy a Bitcoin. You can buy it on an exchange like Coinbase or Binance. I'm sure you've probably heard of one of those before. And now you can also buy it through an ETF, which is an exchange-traded fund, just like you would buy stocks in an ETF, through a company like Fidelity, or there's hundreds of different companies that have these ETFs now. But the ETF is brand new. So the ETF just came out in January. It was not available before then. It's a very, very, very simple way to get involved in crypto. So we'll talk about that a little more. But if you're just looking for a simplicity and you're like, I want to get into crypto, I want to buy some Bitcoin, I have no interest in getting on Coinbase and buying coins and buying a wallet and setting all that up, then just simply go to Fidelity, buy the Bitcoin ETF, and let them handle everything. This is actually what I'm currently doing with my brother-in-law and my parents. I'm getting both of them to put money into Bitcoin, and they're asking me about it. The wallet, the Coinbase stuff, too confusing for them. Can't figure it out. I said, let's just buy it through Fidelity. And so they're setting up an account on Fidelity, just like you'd set up any account with them, and they're just buying Bitcoin through the ETF. It's literally as simple as can be. So if you're just looking for the simplest thing to get into Bitcoin, that's what I would recommend, would be just using the ETF. The ETF, you don't have to worry about anything with like storing the Bitcoin. You don't have to worry about it being stolen. Fidelity handles all of that. So you don't have to worry about any of that. And like I said, you just buy it like any old regular ETF. So Fidelity has hundreds of ETFs, different stock ones, all that kind of stuff. So now they have a Bitcoin ETF. There's obviously other places you can do it besides Fidelity. I've always just kind of used them for stuff, and they're pretty simple to use. So that's why I'm recommending them. So this is what it looks like on their website, introducing the Fidelity-Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund. You literally just sign up for it, wire them money, and you will own a Bitcoin ETF. So the other option here is buying Bitcoin on an exchange. So either Bitcoin or other altcoins. So Coinbase, Binance, those are two types of exchanges that you can do that. The benefit of buying on an exchange is twofold. So one, you actually have physical custody of the coins yourself. Some people really, really care about this. So people who get into Bitcoin because they think the currency is going to collapse. They think like the government's going to try to change all kinds of stuff with currencies. They want to have their own physical custody of their own Bitcoin, just like some people who are really into buying gold want to own the actual gold coins instead of owning like a gold ETF. So if that is you and you kind of believe in it like that, and you're like, I want physical custody of it, then you're better off buying it on an exchange like Coinbase or Binance. You can also buy more coins than just Bitcoin on those exchanges. So you can buy Ethereum, you can buy Solana, you can buy pretty much all these other kind of top level coins. Once they hit a certain level market cap, they'll get listed on Coinbase, they'll get listed on Binance. So those are the benefits of buying on these exchanges. The downside is you need to take your coins off the exchange and put them into a hard wallet so they're safe. So you don't want to leave coins on an exchange because they can get hacked. And if they get hacked or somebody gets in there, they can steal your coins. And say you had $100,000 of Bitcoin sitting there, it's instantly gone. This obviously, the better exchanges like Coinbase, Binance are very good about not letting hacks happen, but they definitely, it is a possibility. So this is why, like, I bought most of my coins through Coinbase. I've taken them off. I put them into a hard wallet. I'm going to show you what a hard wallet is here in a second. If you have no idea what that is, I'll show you what that is. But that way I actually own the coins now. I have them. When I originally bought all my coins, the Bitcoin ETF did not exist. I probably would have just bought the Bitcoin ETF had it existed at the time. But I really don't think there's a wrong way to do it. If you're going to buy the Bitcoin ETF, it's much simpler. If you're going to buy the stuff on Coinbase, it's easy to buy, it's easy to set up, and then you got to get it onto the hard wallet. So like I said, kind of summing that up, the ETF is definitely the simplest way to buy Bitcoin. So there's no storage on your part. You literally just wire them the money. They'll buy it for you, and they'll take care of kind of holding everything. Coinbase and Binance, they do give you more coins to buy, and you also own the coins, but the downside is you'll need to store them yourself. So let's talk a little bit about buying coins on Coinbase or Binance. the kind of general rule here is Coinbase is mostly for Americans. Binance tends to be for every other country. I believe you have to be an American to use Coinbase. And I think Binance, I'm not sure if Binance is open to Americans or if it's just international. I don't remember the exact thing, but most of my friends that do not live in the U.S. basically use Binance. All my friends that live in the U.S. use Coinbase. So kind of simple rule of thumb there. If you're setting up an account on either of these exchanges, here's some tips from Mike Dillard to keep in mind. This was something that was kind of really eye-opening to me when I first got started. So Mike says, create a brand new email address that you only use for crypto. So don't use your normal email address or your Gmail address that you've been using for years and years. Create a brand new, it can be a Gmail one, that's fine, that you only are going to use for crypto. The reason why is because there's a good chance that your password and all that from your email is probably out on the internet somewhere on the dark web. And you don't want someone having access to your email and then being able to get into your crypto account and steal everything. So create a brand new email address. Like I said, it can be a Gmail one, that's fine. And also turn on your two-factor authentication inside of Coinbase, inside of Binance. It'll give you this option. It'll say, do you want to turn on two-factor authentication? You definitely want to do it, and you want to do it through an authenticator app. So like I think I use the Google Authenticator app. It'll give you the option to do it through an authenticator app or through your phone number. The authenticator app is much safer than the phone number because the phone number can be stolen by people at the phone company, and there's actually been like instances of this happening. Like I said, this is shit I never even like thought about, but Mike is much more paranoid than I am, and he like looks into all this stuff. So when I was setting up my accounts originally, Mike was really big on this. He's like, create a brand new email address, then turn on the two-factor authentication, and make sure you do it through an authenticator app and not through a phone number. So once you do that, sign up, deposit money from your bank account. Usually going to take a day or two to like verify this. Then you just come in here. This is what Coinbase looks like. Come in here. You just pick what you want to buy, and say you want to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Boom! You just click buy, and it'll buy it. Once you purchase the coins, they'll be in your Coinbase account. They'll be in your Binance account. Your next goal is to get a hard wallet and to move your coins to the hard wallet. So one thing to keep in mind, like, there's no issue just like keeping money on Coinbase or Binance for like a couple days. Just long term, you'd like to get it over to the hard wallet. So like, you don't want to keep a bunch of money on Coinbase for 5 years. Like, you'd rather get that money onto a hard wallet, so it's not just sitting on an exchange where it could potentially be hacked. So a hard wallet, there's many different types out there. This is the one that I own. It's called the Trezor Model T. It's basically this little plastic thing that you can plug into your computer, connects through the USB-C, and basically you transfer your coins from Coinbase, from Binance to this little wallet. So you actually physically own the coins. You could take this wherever you want. You could take it with you. The cool thing is this is super secure, and it is really pretty much impossible to break into unless you have what is called the seed phrase. I'll go into that in a second, but there's basically when you're setting up your Trezor, it'll give you usually anywhere from 12 to 24 words that you have to put in as your password to open it. And that is your kind of password to open the Trezor and to get access to your crypto coins. So it's very, very secure. Pretty much impossible to hack. One thing I will note, only buy a Trezor from the actual Trezor website. Do not buy it from Amazon. Do not buy it from somewhere else. There's a good chance those could already be messed with or hacked or something where they're going to steal all your coins. So if you're buying any type of hard wallet, make sure you're buying it from the official site. This is a big issue. So like I said, don't buy it from Amazon. Don't buy it from somewhere else. Make sure you're buying it from the actual Trezor website. Once you get to Trezor, it's going to have you set it up and create a seed phrase. I'm not going to go through the whole instructions on doing this. Like, it's actually pretty simple to do. It gives you step-by-step instructions. You could also find YouTube videos to help you walk it through. That's literally all I did. I followed the instructions they gave me, and I watched like a YouTube video that showed the same thing. Pretty simple to do. I'm not tech savvy at all, and I figured it out pretty easily. But I really want to point this out. So the seed phrase, which I said is basically like your password for your Trezor, this is your key that accesses all your crypto. So if you lose this, you're screwed. There's no customer service you can email and say, hey, I lost my seed phrase. There's no way to get it back. So once you have your seed phrase, you're going to want to write it down. And the way I recommend doing it is writing it down into 2 different places and then storing it somewhere safe. So basically two separate pieces of paper, literally like piece of paper with a pen or a marker, something that's not going to like fade away. Write down the seed phrase. Like I said, your seed phrase will generally be between 12 and 24 words. It just kind of depends what the Trezor gives you when you set it up. Write all that down, and it'll just say like word 1 would be like cat, word 2 will be grass, word 3 is green, and it'll just say that all the way down. That piece of paper, like I said, is the most valuable part of this. If you lose that, you're not going to have access to your crypto. So if you have $50,000 or $100,000 of crypto and you lose that paper, you're screwed. So you do not want to lose the seed phrase. And you really want to, the reason you write it down, I'll get to this a little later, but we don't want a digital copy of it anywhere. So do not take a picture of it. Do not put it in the notes section of your phone. Do not text it to yourself. Don't put it in Google Drive. You don't want it to be anywhere that could potentially get hacked. So this is why we write it down on pen and paper. And then we're going to keep that paper somewhere safe, obviously. If you have a safe at home, that'd be a great place. If you have, I don't know, somewhere in your house where it's not going to get lost, where people's not going to throw it away, you want to do that. I recommend doing it in 2 different locations. So you could have it in 2 different places in your house. One could be in a safe in your house. One could be in like a safe deposit box at a bank. One could be, I don't know, in your house. Another one could be with, I don't know, maybe a parent or a sibling that you trust. So you can do that if you're, just kind of depends how paranoid you are. So, but I highly recommend you write it down. You keep it in somewhere safe that you're not going to lose it, that it's not going to fade away, that type of thing. But I will reemphasize this. Do not take a picture of it. Don't put it in a Google Doc. Don't put it in the notes app of your phone. That's the last thing you want to do, because that's how it can get stolen and your crypto can get hacked and stolen. So it needs to be written down with pen and paper. Like I said, when you're actually setting up the Trezor, this might sound kind of complicated. I'm not going to walk you through all the directions, because they literally give you step-by-step directions when you get it. And I was able to figure it out, and I'm quite an idiot when it comes to tech stuff and setting things up. So just follow the directions that they give you. If you can also watch a YouTube video, it'll show you how to do it. It's very, very simple. And I'll go back to what I kind of mentioned earlier. If this all seems way too confusing, like you're like, good Lord, I'm never going to be able to figure this out. This is way too confusing. I still want to get into crypto. I still want to own some crypto, but I don't think I'll be able to do that. I know I'm not going to do that. Then just stick with the Bitcoin ETF. Like I said, you just go to Fidelity, wire them money, buy the Bitcoin ETF. And that's like the simplest way to kind of get involved in crypto. Like I said, I'm doing that for my brother-in-law, my parents, who I know for both of them, like getting a Trezor and holding on to it and doing a seed phrase, they're never going to do it. They're not going to be able to figure it out, especially my parents. They're 65 years old and barely know how to turn on a computer. So for them, just buying the Bitcoin ETF, they can figure that out, especially because they could just call the guy who manages their investments. He can figure it out, do it for them. So if you want to go with the simplest way and you're just like, how do I get involved in crypto and I want the simplest thing, the Bitcoin ETF is my recommendation for that. So there you go. Short and sweet. I hope this was helpful for you if you're brand new to crypto. I really just wanted to give you a kind of a quick overview of kind of how I got involved in crypto and kind of some of the rules I follow, and then how to get going, how to get started, and how to buy your first, whether that's Bitcoin or whatever coins you want to buy. But yeah, hope this was helpful for you, and good luck with your crypto investing.